Nigeria, welcome to Newsline. I am Becky Madujemu. Thanks for tuning in. In less than 3 weeks, 2019 will come to an end. Across the country, small and big organizations have been quite busy with activities to close the chapter and open a new one. In other words, Christmas is in the air. Among the features that align with the Yuletide is a drive-through areas where the mood of the season is evident. In addition to that, you will have the pleasure of watching several end-of-year parties, awards and festivals, including gatherings. Kind-hearted Nigerians showed a great deal of kindness to the needy. We also intend to visit tourist sites, and the locations we have penciled down stand out remarkably. The crime stories are also in this edition. We'll take a look at the spate of extrajudicial killings and details of the kidnap of 3 female students in Bayelsa State. Before we bring these and more reports, let's hear the news. Over to Rhoda Anonam for that.
Thank you very much, Becky. Good evening, Nigeria, and thank you for joining us. The presidency has reacted to some of the insinuations in the media about the arrest by the Department of State Services of Omoyele Sowore. In a statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the DSS does not necessarily need the permission of the presidency in all cases to carry out its essential responsibilities. Anyone who's followed his actions and words should not be surprised that Sowore is a person of interest to the DSS, as no government would allow anybody to openly call for destabilization in the country and do nothing. Nigerians are therefore implored to let the course of justice run peacefully. More Nigerian youths are becoming active participants in the fight against corruption, having seen its negative impact in the social and economic development of the country. Francis Form was at the Michelle's Youth Say No to Corruption campaign in Abuja, and now reports.
Take the lead in ridding Nigeria of corruption, and this gathering is not only to sensitize more youths, but also to honor those among them that stand out in that regards.
I have always been this very driven person that feels like, she can stand up for every person's right and, is the boldest amongst all to confront what it is and all that.
If you say no to corruption, and you say no to corruption, and you say no to corruption, corruption will be no. So it's about all of us coming in together to say no.
Speakers are quick to remind the youth again about the ills of corruption.
The moment your conduct, actions, or your inactions affects in your own dishonesty, affects your next level, you are corrupt.
You want somebody who gives you money before you can vote, and then you want that man to come and perform when you voted a carpenter and moved a banker.
Zero tolerance for corruption is a linchpin that all of us should key in and take advantage to make corruption the board.
The youth campaign against corruption is in commemoration of 2019 International Anti-Corruption Day with the theme, Together We Can Fight Against Corruption. In Abuja, Francis from NTN News.
The Minister of Environment, Mohammad, has tasked Nigerian delegates to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in Spain, Madrid, to explore possible means of building climate change resilience in Nigeria. Meeting with the delegates, the minister reminded them of federal government's commitment to ensuring that Nigeria meets up her internationally determined contributions with the time frame agreed at the Paris Conference of 2015.
The livelihood of the people, and this is something that we cannot let up. We'll only have to continue to push forward, to do our best and best again and again.
Now, recent findings by the United Nations Environment Programme indicates that the world ecosystem is being threatened by plastic littering the environment. To address this environmental concern, a group of youths is partnering with the German embassy to promote a reduction in the use of plastic containers by Nigerians. Olabode Arewa takes it from here.
Plastic, a non-biodegradable substance, is used for a variety of purposes in our modern world. The Ocean Cleanup Project, a non-governmental organization, estimates that about 1 million plastic bags are used every minute around the world, with about 8 million metric tons of such plastics ending up in the oceans and rivers as waste. The Environment for Sustainable Change Initiative, a group of youths interested in a sustainable environment, believes that the environment could be healthier when people adopt more eco-friendly products rather than plastics.
In May of 2020, this year, the House of Rep passed a bill called the Plastic Bag Prohibition Bill, and up till now we don't know the status as it is. We cannot keep waiting on government. We have to start doing something because a lot of plastic is causing a lot of problems in our waterways, air we drink.
The group's No Thanks campaign took the message of sustainable change to shoppers in Abuja.
Just don't use the plastic bags. That's the first step. And then if you use plastic bottles, recycle them. There are several structures now all around the city.
It's not a bad idea having to change the use of polythene bag because it takes a very long time for it to decompose.
A Catch Them Young program is already in place to ensure that very young people key into the campaign in Abuja or Labodarewa. NTA News.
An important key player in the nation's financial system, the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation says it is poised to support the growth of businesses through robust supervision of insured depositing financial institutions across the country. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of NDIC, Umaru Ibrahim, gave this indication during the NDIC Special Day at the 40th edition of the Kano International Trade Fair. Fatima Ali reports.
In 1989, the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation is saddled with the responsibility to, among other things, promote public confidence in the financial system and gently conduct risk-based supervision of banks to ensure early identification and timely intervention in potentially troubled banks. The annual event is therefore a veritable platform for NDIC to educate Nigerians on its activities and to engage directly with depositors of closed financial institutions who are yet to assess their trapped funds and prefer way forward. In the message, Managing Director and Chief Executive of the NDIC, Umar Ibrahim, said the corporation has been able to deliver on its mandate through collaborative efforts with the nation's apex bank.
The essence is to enlighten and further improve on financial literacy by telling members of the public what our functions are and how to encourage them to do their finances, more especially dealing with their banks in the most appropriate manner.
If anybody has any complaint, whether it is dispensing error of an ATM machine, wrong debit, or spurious charges by the banks, they can always come to the information client office of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and will look into the problems and investigate, and it will be properly addressed.
The NDIC Special Day at the 40th edition of Kano International Trade Fair, which attracted traditional rulers, top government functionaries, and captains of industries, featured interactive sessions. Fatima Aliu, NTA News.
Director of the Federal Polytechnic Nekede, Imo State, says the institution remains committed to academic excellence so as to complement federal government's efforts towards economic development. He was speaking at the 20th convocation ceremony of the institution. Kate Osunwa has details.
2018 graduating sets of 10,000 students, they are said to have met the requirements for the award of national and higher national diplomas, as well as certificate courses. Rector of Federal Polytechnic Nekede, Dr. Michael Aramama, says the institution has recorded milestones through academic excellence and infrastructural development. He particularly acknowledged State Fund and fellows institution for their contributions to the development of the Polytechnic.
We have hit strongly into the fight against corruption, which His Excellency Mr. President is so passionately committed to.
Governor Emeka Ihejoha says ongoing 17-kilometer road construction works on Nekede Ihagwa catchment areas of the Federal Polytechnic and the Federal University of Technology is part of his commitment to repositioning the major institutions in the state.
The Governor One fundamental thing I would do would be to ensure that we restore back the institutions of our state, to ensure that the infrastructure of our state is good.
Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, who was represented, assures of greater commitment to the development of the institution.
The government is committed to strengthening capacity of the academic staff in our tertiary institutions through tech-borne interventions.
Some of the best graduating students shared their views.
Looking at the process I passed through in high institution, it wasn't really easy.
Ino Kate Osonwa, NTA News.
ZENITH Bank PLC has held its 14th edition of the Christmas Youth Parade designed to support, nurture and empower the Nigerian child. Amaka O reports that more than 30 schools from Lagos State attended the parade.
With participants drawn from selected public schools and alternative care homes, this parade can be described as a mega festival and an avenue to usher in the Yuletide and New Year for the children. Tagged Heroes of Our Times, Past, Present and Future. Executive Director ZENITH Bank PLC, Dennis Olisa said some Nigerians will be honored to serve as inspiration to the children and pursue their dreams with greater vigor.
When you highlight the strength, the resilience, the vision that were exemplified by our heroes past, they want to share with that, they want to imbibe it, and then ensure that it stays with them as long as they live.
There's a lot of greatness in the children. So what we're doing is that we are making a deposit, into their hearts.
And in various ways, we try to invest more in the society that has been so nice to us. So investment in youth development is also an investment for tomorrow.
It makes sense for us to bring the children quite early enough into the banking space, expose them to financial literacy so that they start learning what it is to keep money aside for savings, to learn about investment and learn about financial management.
Children engage themselves in various games to catch up with the mood of the season. Awards were given to some living legends who have excelled in their various professional fields. Dance performance by various artists added color to the event. As one of the leading commercial banks in the country, ZENITH Bank PLC is committed to championing causes that project the development of the Nigerian youths. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, has enjoined tertiary institutions in the country to take character modeling seriously and implement policies that must conform with the yearnings of the masses. Boss Mustafa was speaking at the presentation ceremony of the Volume 2 Compendium of the Ahmadu Bello University alumni in honor of recently elected and appointed members of the prestigious institutions into key national and international positions. Deborah Micah reports.
An array of personalities as members of the alumni of Ahmadu Bello University converged on Abuja in honor of those appointed and elected into key national positions across the world. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, proposed the role the alumni should play in reviving the education sector.
As parents, guardians, leaders in our own right, we must take character molding, mentoring, etc., much more seriously at home, workplace, and the society at large.
The institution, which has positioned itself to producing eminent leaders across the globe, currently has 13 ministers who are members of the Alumni Association alongside 8 governors.
That we are able to unveil in a time space of 4 months, the second volume of the compendium speaks volume.
I thanked Mr. President for appointing 14 of our alumni members.
You have brought the person to the limelight of the people. You have showcased him and is duty-bound to succeed.
The event, organized by the national body of the Alumni Association, presented to the public the volume 2 of a compendium of the Alumni Association.
That we are all gathered here today in fulfillment of that need, which is the second volume
With a pledge by members to sustain the vision of the founding fathers, the association is committed to maintain high level of integrity. Deborah Micah, NTA News.
Sons and daughters of Igbomina living in Lagos have been enjoined to love one another if they want Igbomina land to progress. Chairman Omoibile Igbomina, Lagos State, gave the advice during the 2019 Igbomina Day in Lagos. Ken Igbeluge reports.
Igbomina is a subgroup of the Yoruba ethnic group in Kwara State. Every year, the Igbomina people living in Lagos organize a cultural day known as Igbomina Day. The aim is to bring together sons and daughters living in the state to discuss issues affecting them and how they can develop their communities back home. Chairman Igbomina in Lagos urged them to always demonstrate love to one another and give helping hand to those in need of assistance.
We want to come together for unity purpose, for cooperation, for understanding, and more importantly, our youth, to bring them together and give them a cultural value of Igbomina.
There is this need for us to get together, unify ourselves, synergize together to bring Igbomina land, to take them to the next level.
Towards unifying the Igbomina sons and daughters in Lagos, there was a fundraising to build Igbomina House in the state. Prominent son of Igbomina is the Minister of Information and Culture, Mohammad. In Lagos, Ken Igbeluge, NTA News.
Now, when you hear the word sexy on social media, what really comes to mind? Revealing clothes, expensive clothes, handwork, or intellectualism? Now, let's hear from the horse's mouth, Mohammad Miriam Maktab, the convener of Intelligence is Sexy. Linda Okoregwe reports.
Exposes people, especially the young folks, to all sorts of societal ills, ranging from nudity, violence, and many more. In order to right some of the wrongs created by social media, Mariam Mohammad Maktab is using her social media handle to promote and get the Nigerian youth population embrace the ideas of hard work and intellectualism rather than seeking acceptance, materialism, fake glamorous lifestyles, and get-rich-quick syndrome. Exploring the theme, Intelligence is Sexy, the aim is encouraging Nigerian youth to embrace the positive usage of social media.
I like this. I like that, it's bringing us back to our norm, how things were back in the day, where it was just through hard work, intelligence, being consistent, being diligent that takes you far in life. So, so my advice to the youth is, you can't cut corners.
I say to Nigerian youth is that the way you use your youth will determine how you die. Whether you die having been self-actualized and realized, or you die in depression.
My advice to youth is that look at social media as a tool that should be in your hand, and not a tool that is controlling you.
While celebrating her birthday, Mariam uses the occasion to reorient and sensitize the youth on creativity and entrepreneurship that will allow them to become active participants in the digital revolution and economy.
To know their worth. My worry on what goes on social media at the moment, the youth seeing the social media as an avenue for sex and body gratification.
Killing two birds with one stone, you may say, wishing Mariam Mohammad Maktab happy birthday.
President Muhammad Buhari has given thumbs up to the world heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua for regaining his belt on Saturday night in rematch with Mexican Andy Ruiz Jr. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, President Buhari rejoices with Joshua, saluting him for bringing joy to millions of Nigerians at home and in the diaspora, who had rooted for him to regain the titles he lost about 6 months ago. The downfall of a man is truly not the end of his life. There's always another day and a better day. This is a lesson we must learn from you as a country, President Buhari tells the comeback world champion. He wishes Anthony Joshua well as he seeks to bring more glory to Nigeria and to the boxing profession. Similarly, the All Progressives Congress has congratulated the Nigerian-born Anthony Joshua on becoming a two-time world heavyweight champion following his victory over Andy Ruiz Jr. in a rematch in Saudi Arabia. The party, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Lanre Issa Onilu, is proud of Anthony Joshua, describes him as a stunning comeback victory which saw him take the IBF, WBA, IBO and WBO titles. Now let's join Kene Emma Abudike for the sports update.
No away